Everybody's looking for quick money and they want to have that easy client.
How did you do it? Like, how did you get out there and start building relationships with the right people?
No, you're not reinventing anything and you're not having to figure it out on your own.
I just want to do it on my own. I want to make all the money. I want to do all this stuff. And they just flounder forever
If you try to do too many things, you're never going to be good at one thing.
because you're always thinking about like, well, I need money.
It's showing, not telling.
What do I do? Because I need money. Like, how did you overcome the mental hurdle?
You don't know what you want until you reach a certain level, and then you might want something else.
What's up, everybody? Grant Wise. Welcome back to the Partner Profit Podcast. Excited for my conversation today. I get to chat with Mr. Bill Davis. What up, Bill?
What's up, man? How's it going?
I'm doing good, man. I'm pumped to have you on here and appreciative that you've taken some time. It really means a lot.
Yeah, no, definitely. Glad to be back in the saddle again.
Yeah. Well, for the people that are listening to this and maybe don't know much about you, why don't you give us a bit of the backstory? How'd you get to where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm over here in the San Francisco, the Bay Area. We're more on the East Bay, so we're kind of having the view of San Francisco. I'm not in San Francisco, but we, kind of where I started, like I've always been in sales. I've never had a W-2 in my life. It's always been 1099. And so I think what that looks like is I've always had that hunger for money and building and growing and selling everything from shoes at Macy's all the way to selling cars and going door knocking and all of these different experiences. And I think this is one thing that you've always said. It's real estate is a fallback career. And so that's kind of what it was for me. It was nothing that I was really expecting myself to do. And I got into selling cars, and I was flipping a lot of cars, making a lot of money on my own. I was like, you know what, I want to start my own dealership, but before I do that, I want to go actually work at a real dealership and see how it's ran before I go try to do this on my own. And so I did that, but then the market crashed. And so once that market crashed, I was on unemployment for about 2 years. And then my wife at the time was girlfriend, and I saw she was making a lot of money in real estate. And that's what got me into real estate. I was like, you know what, let me try to do that. Let me take these tests. And so here I am now. And 16 years later, I think what separates me from everybody else that's out there, and this is one of my recruiting pitches when I talk to other agents, is I was an agent on a team for like 9 years before actually starting my own team. And it's kind of like the same philosophy of what I had when I wanted to flip cars and sell cars and work at a dealership first. And so now we're 6 years in and growing and building, and I think we finished number 32 last year at eXp as far as teams, so continue to push,
That's amazing.
trying to chase the top dogs like all day,
Yeah,
every day. It's like,
coming after him, man. I love it. One of the things that I really appreciate about your story is that you spent some time on a team. I try to always say this in like a nice way, but like we've talked a little bit about, like, I think you mentioned it, like this is kind of like a fallback profession for a lot of people. It is so easy for people to get their real estate license, but 86% of people fall out of the industry in less than 5 years. And I wish somebody would mandate that you have to go sit on a team for 2 years as like almost kind of like an internship, or pass certain literacy or business financial literacy or business exams to be able to go like straight to selling. I think that being incubated on a team is one of the best things that you could possibly do, because it really gets you in there. It helps you learn the business, and you get to do it in a way where there's a lot of action happening. Whereas when people got on their own, most of the time they really struggle because they don't have the contacts. They don't know the business. They don't understand all the systems and processes and people and requirements. I think the average income of a first-year real estate agent is still around $8,000. And the average income of a second-year real estate agent is around $16,000. And it stays that way up until like year 4. And people really start to have some breakthroughs if they stay in the industry. And so
yeah.
it's fascinating. I guess I didn't realize that you were that you were solo on a team for so long, but I really commend it because I'm sure it taught you everything that you really needed to know about the business.
Yeah, I mean, I stayed like 1 year almost trying to figure it out. And, like I was like, if I'm going to go sell houses, I'm going to try to go to the most expensive neighborhood around me. And if I'm going to sell something, this is everyone's mindset. They all want to sell luxury right off the bat. And I figured out that it was not the way. I was door knocking, not knowing what to do. And then somebody was like, hey, this person, opened up their own brokerage. And basically I joined a team before teams were teams. Like it wasn't a team, it was like a boutique company. And then towards the end of it, that's when I started training a lot of agents. I started kind of running a lot of meetings and basically was kind of a sales manager without having that title. And so there's so many years at the end, I was like, dude, there's no way I'm running a team. I saw my broker's overhead I saw what he had to go through. But then I think I got to the point to where I was like, you know what, like I was selling 25, 30 years, year after year, and that was my balance. I didn't want to do more because I still like life, right? And I think
Yeah.
like, you could always sell more, but I think the only way to sell more and make more and to free up your time was to start to add to the team. And like that's I just got really good at social media and videos and started getting way too many leads. And then this is the problem that, it's not just brand new agents that we feel need to join a team right away. I also feel there's way too many people that think they could start a team and they
Yeah.
shouldn't be starting a team. And I see so many fail. And so it goes that way also.
Yeah, I think the success rate on teams is like sub 15%, meaning somebody goes and starts a real estate team. Not everybody makes it. Like the majority of people don't. And so I find it really fascinating. This is such a relationship based industry. And so I'm curious from your perspective, when you want to sell a lot of houses, like you want to get out there and move, how did you do it? Like, how did you get out there and start building relationships with the right people so that you could grow your business?
Like, one of the things that people always say is like putting clients first. And I think that's one of the things I for sure at the beginning when I first started, like I had bills to pay and like I was struggling to pay rent and all these other things. And you start to get a little money hungry. And you start to put that money first and you start to make decisions and say things based off of like I need you to do this because I need to get paid to pay my rent. And like that's when there's no relationship there. There's no customer service. Like there's no way I was getting referrals. Like I was just trying to get them in a contract and move on. And like that's where I think people struggle, or it's like you got to get to the points where you don't care about the money, you care about the people, and then the people that you care about are gonna feed you. And like that's, I mean, my one of my top agent, that's number one right now. You could just tell like he doesn't care about money and he cares about just helping somebody. Like it's literally like that's all we need to focus on. And so that's where I think it took a while to finally figure that out.
It's a mental flip, isn't it? Like it's kind of hard for somebody to go like to do what you're saying, I think, because you're always thinking about like, well, I need money. Like, what do I do? Because I need money. Like, how did you overcome the mental hurdle?
Well, I came from the car sales, so it was like we had to like sell them and close them that day,
Yeah.
like, and because if they left the dealership, then we lost. So it was like coming from that side of things where it's like real estate, it's so long term. And like that's all day, every day that I preach on our team is pipeline. The more people you have in that pipeline, the more you're going to close. So then it's like if you have less in that pipeline, you're more on those people. And maybe you being more on those people are making them less wanting to do things because it's going to take them longer now, versus, but when you have so many people that you're helping, there's going to be more of those people that are going to be making moves sooner rather than later. And that's where a lot of people struggle because you see that with these new agents that are, agents that are out there, they have a couple clients and they're happy, but then it's like, and I learned this the hard way at the beginning, where it's like, I had a couple deals in contract. I stopped everything because I was like, "Oh, I'm finally set. I got these deals that are going to close. I'm going to be able to pay off all these, my debt and whatever I had." And then those deals fell apart. And then that's the story I tell a lot of my agents, like stop relying on a few people. Like you have to keep going.
What is your process for that? Like, how are you guys developing relationships consistently? Is it sit down making calls? Is it doing events? Is it, like, how are you guys developing relationships on an ongoing basis so that agents do always feel kind of like full? Like, I've got a lot of people that could be referring me business.
Yeah, I mean, we have, and I've been hearing this a lot more, where it's like less is more. So we don't want to have you don't want to have too many lead generations that are out there. So I mean, we found two. We got Zillow partnership and we have Movado partnership, which is amazing online leads that we receive. But then it's the referrals that we get out of that. And then it's also the open houses and my SOI, and we're really big on marketing and pushing out agents brands with their own videos, and so we're teaching them how to get their own business at the same time. Like they need a jump start. It takes a while to build the brand and get your content out there to have people start reaching out. So it's like I feel like the online leads is definitely the number one way to get anybody busy quickly.
Can
And
accelerate
like
you. Yeah. Yeah.
and then working with you for so long and helping us dial in a lot of our a playbook, right? And like
Mhm.
having our standards set. And so now it is calls. And it took so long. Last year, you remember last year at this time, we were just getting a new system rolled out in February. Like, and we literally flipped all of our systems and have new systems. We have the best systems that's out there that work, but it's getting my top agents, the new agents, getting everybody to get used to this new system. It took almost a year and we finally have everybody using it, but our calls are up, our conversations are up. And so now we have proof. And now we have, agents that didn't know any of our old systems that only know our new systems. And they're actually at the top of our leaderboard right now,
Yeah,
starting this year.
that's awesome. How do you take those relationships that you're developing and turn them into revenue? What's the process?
I mean, it's more so just helping people. Like kind of goes back to don't care about the money. Like just care about just helping them. Like a lot of people, like especially like even like with the Zillow lead, they're like, oh, I don't want a Zillow lead because I'm gonna only make X amount of dollars, like after splits and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but you just got a new person that's gonna work with you forever now.
Yeah, I don't think enough people pay attention to the LTV, the lifetime value, because one real estate client is worth potentially, $30 to $50,000 over the lifetime of the client. Not to mention the referrals that they can bring in, which is how most real estate agents grow their business still.
Yeah, like it's for us, it's more so of just we gotta just help them and not care about money. But it's hard to teach the new agents that.
How are you helping them? So I guess, like digging in a little bit more there, what are all of the ways that you help clients? And that may sound like a silly question, but like what's the mindset there? Like how are you helping them? What are you doing to help the clients like as you're developing that relationship?
Well, it's making sure that, they, from day one, right? That first script, that first conversation, and making sure that, we got to get in front of that person faster than anybody else, number one. But, to be able to get that client. But then once we have that client, like, so like we have, a swag bag that we put together that has so much, like just have a standout. Like we have a testimonial book and like we have buyer game plans and chapsticks and all this other swag. And so we show up with a gift. That's like our first like initiation of like, hey, here, here's some stuff that, a little bit about our team, and that's how we start it. But then after that, now it's having a consultation, and that's the biggest thing. Like everybody's looking for quick money and they want to have that easy client, but you have to, like, in order for you to get any client to be loyal to, you have to sit down and go through the entire process, the consultation. And that's I learned that when I first started, like I had to get buyer broker agreements signed. And the only way you could get buyer broker agreement signed is by doing a consultation. And so like a lot of people skip doing consultations and just go out and show homes and that's it. But like, full service, like literally like sit down, like let's have coffee, like let's go over. Has anybody ever sat down with you and showed you the process?
Be interested, like be curious, actually genuinely want to develop a relationship with them.
Yeah, the right questions, and then it's not, pressuring them to write any offers. It's showing, not telling. It's, trying to educate them. I have a three strike rule though with my agents and like with clients is like the first strike, it's I'm gonna try to suggest some things that you need to do to move forward, but then sometimes they need to learn the way that they feel that is the right way, and then they need to fail. That second time, I push a little bit harder and get a little bit more direct. And if they still want to do what they want to do, then I'm like, look, we tried to do that before. And then the third time, if they try to do it again, then that's when I get super direct and say, look, you guys probably aren't ready to make a move. Like, I don't think I'm the right realtor for you. Basically, you're firing them before you fire them. And like, I think a lot of agents will give up on somebody, but not fire them and then give bad service.
Mm, which is not something you want to do.
Yeah. So like, I mean, to help our agents, like we do a lot of trainings, like, role play calls, and then I do objection calls every week. And like, that's where a lot of this stuff comes up, where it's like, how do I move the needle with this lead and teaching them the right way so they don't do the wrong things.
Do you have some stories of agents that have made this like mental transition, like stopped worrying about the money and just started serving and helping and contributing? Do you have a couple of people that come to mind that have been able to successfully do this? Maybe they struggled with it a little bit in the first. I think everybody that's like new at this does struggle because it's like, well, I want to make money. It's like
Yeah.
you will. Like this is making money is a byproduct of what you do. But if you don't do the first part right, like the money, like it's never going to come. So, do you have some stories that come to mind of agents that are in your organization that were struggling with this philosophy and then they made the switch and have gone on to just crush it?
Yeah, I mean, the one that I was just mentioning before, I mean, he's probably he's our number one agent right now, and I think he just like he was a teacher, and then he was teaching while he was still trying to do real estate, and I think that's one of the things too is a lot of people think like, okay, I'm going to quit my job 100% and then go full time real estate, and then not realize how long it takes to actually get paid, and then what happens is they feel that pressure And then it's harder for them to actually do things because now they're not doing what they should be doing, and now they're focusing on the money, and then they have to go back and find another job. The moment that I see anybody go back into another job, I think you've even said this, like they never come back. And like we see
Yeah,
that time and time again.
typically.
So like for this guy though, like for somebody to not give up and just keep understanding, like you have to just trust the process. Like it took him like I want to say like 9 months to finally sell, like because he got a couple deals in contract, but then they were falling out. But I think it took him almost 9 months from the day he got started. But now, I mean, last year I think was his full second year or third year, and he sold 25 million, I think, or like he's up there. I think that's the thing. It's like you have to trust the process and just know you're not reinventing anything and you're not having to figure it out on your own. And you just have to make sure you join a group that has the right recipe for you and keep plugging away at it and know once it because I tell, my team is like once it hits, it doesn't stop. As long as you don't stop, but once it hits, like we don't know when that time is. Like my goal for any agent that joins our team is 9 months or 90 days. So within 90 days, you should have a deal as long as you follow the recipe, follow the execution. But, for him, it took longer to finally get the closing. But then because of what he did that first 9 months, like it blew up after that.
Yeah, that's amazing. You seem to have a good knack for like finding opportunity, like the intuition to go just work on a team instead of go out on your own, the intuition to start buying leads to accelerate growth instead of a. Where do you think that comes from? Like what about your story is like giving you the patience to say like, oh, okay, I need to do this first and I need to learn this first, and then it's like, okay, now that I know how to do this, I can accelerate my growth. Because I think so many people come into this industry and they're like, no, I just want to do it on my own. I want to make all the money. I want to do all this stuff, and they just flounder forever. But doing it the way that you've done it seems to have accelerated your growth and put you in a position to just absolutely fly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm not moving fast enough. Like, I feel like I need to. There's so much more I could do. I'm just trying to keep up with other people, and like they just keep going while
Yeah.
I think I feel like I'm catching up, and then like they're still going. I'm like, God damn it! I don't know. Like I've seen friends, even just growing up, I've seen people try to do too many things to try to make one thing work, and then they just never got anything done at all. And like, like it's just everything that they did was mediocre. And I see some people, on the team, or, like if you try to do too many things, you're never going to be good at one thing. And so I think I've seen that just, and so it's just focusing on one thing at a time of like, before I move to that next thing, I need to get this dialed in first. And I still run into that where it's like, I'll go to a conference and come back with a million ideas and throw it at my team and say, hey, let's do this, let's do this. And, we're trying to use Monday and all these other trackers. And I wake up every day, I feel like I'm not doing enough. But then I think like, my first hire was, a VA that I had for almost 4 years that ended up kind of running the team, the back end. But she started out as somebody that just helped us with, I don't know if you remember PEDS when the COVID was around, like we had to get like a form signed saying that we didn't have COVID to go show homes. Like that's all her job was. And then over time, we started giving her more and giving her more, giving her more, and then she got too busy, and then we added another person under her, and then that person got too busy, and then so I think the way people come in is not how they become, but you need somebody, and I'm not afraid to. I think that's as being an entrepreneur, you can't be afraid to just jump,
Yeah.
and without figuring out how to do it, but not jumping too many times. And I hear what you're saying, but I feel like I do that still.
Man, I heard a story not too long ago. I think it was like a year ago. I think it was called Mind Valley. It was some mindset app by Vishen Kiani, and he was telling a story. And he was like, imagine if you went to a restaurant and you sat down, and the waiter comes over and asks you what you want, and you say, I would like to have the spaghetti. And he's like, amazing choice. Runs back, tells the chef. The chef starts making the spaghetti, and then you say, you know what? I think I want the spaghetti. You flag the waiter back over and say, I'm actually gonna have the lasagna. And he goes, our lasagna is amazing. You're gonna love it. Runs back, tells the chef, stop the spaghetti. He wants lasagna. Starts making you some lasagna. And then you change your mind again. And you say, you know what, Mr. Waiter, I would actually love to have the pizza. And he's like, oh my gosh, our pizza is the best in the world. You're gonna love this. Runs back, tells the chef, and the chef starts making some pizza again. And I think so many people do that with their dreams. I want this. And then all of this stuff starts happening, and like they're gonna get what they want, but they change their mind or they stop or they give up and they go, oh no, I want something different. and then this whole thing just like kicks back off again. Oh, I want this. This is going to be amazing. No, actually, I've changed my mind. I want this instead. It's like I see
Yeah.
so many real estate entrepreneurs, real estate agents, and I see it all over the world. I don't see it just in real estate. I see it in home services. I see it in e-com. I see it in internet marketing. They do that. Like I want this, and then they change their mind and they try something else. And it's yeah, it takes a lot of patience, takes a lot of perseverance, but certainly commend you guys and the work that you're doing. You are right. Like you can't be jumping from thing to thing to thing. You got to have the patience to see it all the way through. Ultimately, you're going to be successful. Most people would get what they want if they would just stop trading what they want most for what they want right now. And I think you guys are doing an amazing job.
Yeah, and one thing that I tell people, and I learned myself, is like you don't know what you want until you reach a certain level, and then you get to that level, and then you might want to go to another level, and then like I'm telling you, like when I was on a team for that many years, like I told myself so many times, I was like, I'm never gonna have a team. I'm good. Like I don't need that. And then, you start a team, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a small team. I'm gonna keep it Navy SEAL. And then everybody was like, don't do that. And like I figured out the wrong way, the way that didn't work. And then they're like, okay, you need to have this many agents to be profitable. Okay, let me get to that. And I sat at this table. I joined eXp, and then I went to John Cheplack conference for the first time. It was all on recruiting. And I never recruited agents ever. It was all attract, people reaching out to me. And I sat at this table at lunch with and Veronica Figueroa was there, and then I started telling her a little bit of like what I'm doing, and then she was like, "Why are you thinking small?" And then like that, like honestly, that's what really opened it up to where it was just like, think big. Like, why am I thinking you don't have to do that? Like, you could go as big as you want, and so you don't know what you want until you reach a certain level, and then you might want something else. So I say
But you
never
don't
say
know
never.
until you get to that level, right? Like you don't know until you actually
Yeah.
get there, and then you can have the discussions, the decisions. So yeah, keep persevering, keep going.
Yeah, never say never. I'm telling you, like for years, I was like, I'm never running a team. It's like now we got, one of the largest teams out there. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you spending some time with me today, man. I want to respect your time. I always like to ask this question at the end: is how can the listeners of the podcast, how can they partner with you? How can they support you? What's going on for you right now that we can help you with?
yeah, I mean, follow me on Instagram. I'm an open book. Everything that I've learned is what everybody else opened up their books, and I think that's where it's like the recipe is there. It's more so everybody's at different levels, and I've gone through a lot of levels, but there's a lot of levels that I haven't been to yet that I'm still, reaching for and needing help with. But I think anybody that's, at my level or even like a little bit, less of a team or trying to start a team, like you reach out because I'm here to help and build and grow, and kind of goes back to like what makes the relationships. It's like we're now I understand the giving part, because running a real estate team is not about money. It's we're not making more money. I was making more money, when I was an agent on a team, versus being on a team or running a team now. And we're here just to help and give back. And the more we help and give back, then we start to win ourselves. So I mean, we're in the Bay Area, so if you want to partner and collaborate with us, and you can share our offices and masterminds and our fast forward movement group at EXP. It's not about the company or anywhere you join. It's about who you join with and the group that you're around and who's going to help you. So
Who you partner with? 100%. Couldn't agree more, man. Appreciate you a ton. I'll make sure that we link up the ways people can connect with you in our show notes. And as always, you know this. If there's anything I can do to support you guys, I'm here to do it. So thanks for spending some time with me today. I appreciate it a lot.
awesome.
Cool, cool. Thank you guys for continuing to listen to the Partner and Profit podcast. It's been another epic conversation. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.